right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of the Professional Time Wasters podcast. I'm your host, FireWire, and I'm joined once again by my friend Coolshirt.
Hello, hello.
There he is. And it's been a week. That's a way to describe it. There's a lot of different things that have happened. We're back to sadly negative news, Coolshirt.
Yeah, I know. We don't get too many positive this year.
What do you mean this year? It's been like that for a while.
Yeah, it lasts like 5, 6 years.
Yeah, but let's jump straight into it. So Microsoft, and specifically their gaming division, Xbox, has a new CEO by the name of Asha Sharma, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. And
Mike Vermila, what?
yeah, there you go. I don't know, there's a lot to have it, like there's a lot to take issue with. There's a lot of rumors that are going around about it as well. So let's just start with the facts, what we know. She's not a gamer. She's only recently started playing games. This is from her, not like a speculation or anything. She has a Xbox account now that's been active since about January, and she's pushing forward with one really big plan for the future of Xbox, and it's AI, because everything in this era has to be AI. And
Huh.
I don't know.
Obviously.
I mean, it it's one thing for AI to be, you know, like doing the menial work. Like, I know that you use it, I use it to make thumbnails sometimes. You use it in your day to day for, things. But
For work and stuff, yeah, that's true.
this really isn't helping the is our video games art category, you know?
No, it definitely doesn't help that at all.
I remember it. What's the guy that did that wrote Game of Thrones? J.R. Or
George R. R. Martin.
George R.R. Martin. It's Tolkien and Martin, because one's a rip off and a piece of shit. But either way, so I remember back in the day when he was like, video games aren't art. And when they pried into it a little more, he couldn't give them a straight answer as to why. And all the, I don't know, man. Everyone just seems to be cramming AI into everything, and them wanting to push AI into Xbox, and especially to get it to just produce more games. It just feeds into the thing that killed Xbox in the first place. Quantity over quality, low effort like games. I'm going to be honest with you, whether it's AI or like a person doing it, the quality just isn't there anymore, you know?
Yeah, I agree.
She was taking questions about Xbox and things like that. She's done a couple interviews, and they asked her about the old Blade dashboard. Do you remember what that is?
No, I did not.
So back on when 360 first launched, it's it's the menu, and it's like blades. So it's kind of like book pages, where you like
Oh,
flip.
I know what you're talking
Yeah,
about. I just didn't know it was called that. No, I know exactly what you're referring to.
yeah. So because a lot of people don't like the UI and the interface for Xbox, but I'd argue it's been shit for a while. I mean, it's also been full of ads. They even went back and updated the one for the 360 to where it just plops a huge picture of like the Xbox One, and not the one, the X and the S.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
I would be like, oh my god, this is concerning. Xbox is dead. Like, I want to get really emotional, like, or overreact like a lot of these people do online nowadays. But I'm gonna be honest with you. At least for me, Xbox died back in like 2016 with the
I
Xbox
feel like it
One.
died during the Xbox One era.
Yeah,
Yeah, I was gonna say.
the Xbox One, when they started moving away from games and trying to push that more
You say
multi.
2016, but that was actually all the way back in 2014, actually.
Well, I say 2016 because I didn't buy an Xbox One until 2016 because of this marketing.
That's
I
fair.
I actually instead bought a Wii U, and to be honest, we'll get to Nintendo here in a little while. I have things to say about them. But I don't regret that, because later on when I bought an Xbox, and that influenced me to actually want to eventually build a PC and get into PC gaming, because I felt trapped on the Xbox platform.
Yeah.
purely because there were no games. They completely dropped the ball with their IPs. And a lot has changed now. I mean, you've got Game Pass now, which is arguably one of it went from a really great deal to arguably one of the worst deals in what's it called? Like in the media landscape or amongst subscription services. God
In the
knows.
market.
Yeah,
Just put
there
it's
there
just
you
say the
go.
market. I mean, it's the market essentially. Mhm.
It's just disappointing to watch. I wouldn't say I grew up with it, but like watch my personal favorite like mainstream video game console and platform just go down the tank like this. Granted, PlayStation isn't much better nowadays, but
No, it's not.
I mean back in the day at least when it was the Xbox One versus the PS4. I mean PS4 actually was a good console. It was worth the money.
Yeah, I'd agree.
But funny enough, the main reason why I didn't get a Xbox or why I didn't get a PlayStation instead of an Xbox in that like time period, I personally love the Xbox controller. I think the Xbox One controller is the best controller ever made.
I agree.
And if it's not,
I still think
please,
that even now.
yeah, and if you, it is purely preference, and if you have a different one, I'd love to hear which one you like down in the comments or whatever. And by the way, when I say Xbox, I mean like I don't really mean it has to be a first party one. I mainly mean like the overall design of it, you know, with the right and left thumbsticks kind of off, one being higher than the other instead of being parallel, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
And there's also rumors supposedly that the new consoles are about to be revealed, specifically like the Xbox One. I know that PlayStation is contemplating delaying their release or like their announcement because of the RAM shortage, but Xbox is just going full steam
Chugging
ahead.
along.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. Like I'm surprised they're even putting out a new console.
I'm not. I think this is gonna be the last generation.
I I mean, I'm surprised that this generation that we're on now isn't the last generation. Because with the push to like stream your games and PC components becoming wildly expensive, I'm
Yeah,
surprised that they're even trying to make a next generation.
that's a good point.
That's my deal. And I will say this: the Xbox One, or once again the Xbox Series X, I actually like the way it looks.
You like the mini fridge?
I do like the mini fridge. I really do. I know it's just a rectangular prism, but like to me it just oozes like personality as opposed to like I don't know. When I see the PlayStation, all I see is like one of those oscillating tower what are they called? Like fans or like air conditioners. And when I see an fucking Switch or a Switch 2, I just get disappointed and remember that Nintendo died back in 2015 as well. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of the sad reality of where we're at right now.
But I'm gonna be honest. I'm not, I'm kind of checked out on this. I didn't even know that this was going to happen or that there were rumbles. I did hear that Phil Spencer, the former CEO of Xbox, was supposedly, now I don't know if this is true or not, but was forced out. Like he was given the ultimatum of we're either going to fire you or you can retire with like all the benefits. And well, I mean, he chose to retire. I understand. And like I have my issues with Phil Spencer and cuz he oversaw all of this transition, but
Yeah,
at least he played games.
I agree. Yeah, at least he was like somewhat involved in the community.
Yeah, I mean that's been like the real issue with like EA, Nintendo, and Activision, and all these other companies, Bethesda, and all that. You have a lot of people at the top that are making the decisions, that are making the calls, that don't care about games. They just care at the end of the day how much money can we make, and it's not even for themselves. It's for investors, for shareholders, because whether or not they sell a bunch of games or whatever, they have their bonuses, of course, but they
Yeah,
still they still make a salary. I mean, you're a big PC aficionado now. What's your whole take on this in terms of what this means for the future of gaming?
It seems as if the console market has decided to just give up on a more affordable solution for a more like PC style solution instead of developing custom hardware to run games and stuff like that. And it's just all going over to like the PC side, but then they're going to charge people an arm and a leg just to play games. But then what they're probably going to do is cloud gaming, to where you can basically pay for a service to rent hardware from them to play your games on your TV.
Yeah, I
That's
mean,
where I see it going,
yeah, it's a real shame.
because it's already something you can do. It's just like rent the, what is it, like service, like the performance of someone else's computer to play video games.
Yeah, I mean, you can do it with your own as like system as well. Like you can stream games off of your own PC if you have like
Yeah.
a Steam Deck or an Xbox Ally or whatever they're called.
All you really need is high speed internet and you're good to go.
Yeah. I mean, we've seen that kind of stuff before. I mean, it
Mhm.
has failed, thankfully. I don't think that's a bad thing to say when it comes to like Google Stadia, you know?
Yeah,
But
but that was just the prelude to what was to come.
yeah, gaming has changed a lot. I will say this: it is all not all doom and gloom, because I don't see a world where like streaming outweighs, you know.
Like the more console slash PC gaming's world.
Yeah, that and retro gaming. Like I understand that retro is incredibly expensive now, but what I view it as is games are getting worse and worse and worse and not really worth the money. They weren't worth $60 back in the day. They're sure as hell not worth $70 now, and they want people, or like these CEOs and these investors are trying to push the $80 game, the $100 game, you know?
Yeah.
And and I'm pretty sure, I haven't talked to any CEOs or anything, but the mindset is, look, if we raise the prices so much that no one can afford it, and then we offer them $30 a month like game pass, that's where it starts, mind you. No one will buy these physical games anymore. So eventually I think you're gonna see the first ever, within like the next 3 years, subscription, like stream only game, you know, where
I think that that's going to be something that's going to be exclusive, where there's like you can only stream it.
yeah, no, like for example, what I mean by that is like exclusively on Xbox Game Pass. Like you can't buy it on Steam, you can't go to the Xbox store and buy it, you can't go, you know, you get what I mean? Kind of like what they tried to do with movies there, like back in 2020, you know,
Yeah,
where
yeah.
they were streaming it. It was like exclusively on. But the downfall of that, thankfully, was you had to pay for the subscription, and then you had to fucking buy the movie or like rent the movie, which was like $30 already for your subscription monthly with no ads, and then another $30 just to watch the movie once, or like as many times in a day. I don't know. I never did it.
Yeah.
I mean, I could see that happening very, very soon. Excuse me, but that's the future, quote unquote. But the way I see it right now is, I'm gonna be honest, stuff's too expensive. We live in a time where your essentials and your like needs are incredibly expensive. And the one thing that, you know, video games, movies, TV all has, or quote unquote had, because it's kind of going out of style, is the fact that it was cheap. You know, you
That's
could,
all kind of gone at this point.
yeah, you can go to the store still, and flat screen TVs are everywhere. You can get a good flat screen TV now for under $100. You know,
Yeah,
but
you can.
but the moment you get that flat screen TV, it adds up. You need to be paying for your electric bill, which is incredibly expensive. You got to pay for internet now. And then on top of that, you're now going to need a subscription service, or what are you going to do? Dial up, or not dial up, that's what's it called? Cable. Cable's the most expensive thing you can get. And sadly, streaming is now cable plus, you know. I remember the whole cut the cord campaign.
Yeah, which is really dumb, to be honest.
And let's say you wanted to do all that. Well, now
It's
you
funny because the whole cut the cord campaign doesn't even really get rid of all the cords.
no, there's still just as many cords. And
I'd actually argue there's more.
I don't know. I have an abnormal amount because I have like 7 different consoles hooked up to one television, you know? But I
Yeah,
also
that is your problem. Mhm.
when I game, I use one of those old CRTVs, you know, the CRT TVs.
Why do you
So
have one of those?
for my old games, like for my old consoles,
I see.
purely stuff that's like AV only, like my
Nice.
SNES, my NES, the GameCube to a certain extent. But
The
nowadays,
classics, essentially.
yeah, because to me, with all this, and then on top of all of that, you now have to buy a console that's looking at it's $700 now, but really fear that we're pushing towards the $1,000 console. You know,
I feel
because
like we're already there.
no one's gonna buy $1,000 console. Let's be real. But what I fear is these corporations, Xbox in specific, Sony, they're incredibly greedy. That's we've been talking about that all episode so far. But
And on previous episodes.
yeah, but like, where does it stop? Where does it be like, okay, listen, everyone, the main console is going to be $1,000. We're not going to be able to offset it. This is how we make our real money on games and our subscriptions. What do we do? Okay, so we're going to start cutting things. They've already cut out discs, like disc trays. Okay, you can buy one slightly cheaper, what, $200 less. You lose that $200 within the first amount of like subscriptions if you're purely paying for subscriptions on there. And what's next? Your controller sold separately, you know? Because we already see that the Xbox controller is like forwards compatible, you know?
Yeah,
So where does the cost cutting stop when it comes to this, you think?
that's a good question. I don't think it's ever really gonna. It's just gonna keep getting worse. I think.
Because like you remember that the 360 had the removable memory card like on the top, and then it had the slots on the bottom. The
Well, there was two different versions of the 360. There was the memory card thing at the top, and then there was the secondary version of the 360 that came out later.
yeah, the slim, but like the original one, you know?
Yeah, I know. I have both.
Yeah, but like we already see this with funny enough, PlayStation and kind of Xbox. The PlayStation 5, you can just easily pull it apart, and they sell upgrade hard drives and all that for your PlayStation. They sell it at Walmart now.
Damn.
So I don't see why they're gonna start saying memory sold separately, especially now with the chip crisis that we're in. You know?
Yeah, we're in a pretty bad position with the chip crisis thing because they're not going to continue to support gaming as we are right now with a lot of the like RAM, GPU stuff, and things of that nature. With all these companies just doubling down on AI, which I think the only hope that the gaming industry has is the AI industry falling. But I think that's the same hope for a lot of different industries. But it's going to get bailed out by every government, so I don't think that's even going to be possible.
Yeah, it definitely is going to get bailed out when it does inevitably fail. But I don't know. I don't genuinely. I don't think that that could happen. I think the negative. I haven't seen negativity both online and in person like I have against AI. You know, because even all these AI companies, like the CEOs and the owners, all know that they're only going to be able to do all of this as long as the public, you know, okays it.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, the moment that like it becomes socially unacceptable, the plugs are getting pulled, you know? And that's who knows when.
Ultimately, we just need to collectively say, yeah, fuck AI.
Yeah. It's funny because there's no real good solution because it's one of those things where using if you don't use AI, you're actively handicapping yourself in terms of like the market and everything now because almost everyone's using AI. But the people that are using it, you know, aren't offsetting the cost that it's taking. And these companies are trying to expand with money that they don't have. And
Yep,
that,
they are.
you know, and that honestly, if we can keep up the distaste for it, you know, then eventually it will crumble. And when it comes time to get bailed out, no one will bail them out because, you know, they're not quote unquote socially acceptable at the end of the day, you know?
Yeah.
And I mean, it's the same thing with Xbox. That's exactly why they failed because no one likes their games anymore. Whether it's, like overly politicized marketing, game devs that actively attack their fans, or just put it simply, games no one asked for that are just not up to snuff or dog shit quality games. Halo Infinite, if you look at it, is the example of everything wrong with Xbox.
Yeah.
And the game's a failure. Xbox is a failure. When Halo went down the drain, I hopped. There was nothing else keeping me there. And I'd argue that the solution to all of this is retro gaming. And what I mean by retro gaming is playing older games, not necessarily like go and play your like Mario or like Super Mario for the NES, but play old games, play stuff from the 360 era, play things that you enjoyed from like the Xbox One and PlayStation 4 era, PS2 era, things like that. Whether you own the games or you get them in other ways that involve you playing Sea of Thieves. You know, that's what I say. In a world where like these companies hate you, don't buy their shit. Go play their old shit. There's a reason why Nintendo doesn't re-release their stuff, because they know that if they re-release their old things, no one would play the new stuff. And that's the perfect transition into the second half of this podcast. The you know what Pokemon is, right? Coolshirt?
Sadly.
Yeah, the biggest franchise on the planet. Did you know that the Nintendo Switch has been out for 9 years?
Sadly, I think I did know that.
So it took them 9 years, but they finally have a good mainline Pokemon game coming to the Switch. Cool shirt.
Oh, do we know?
Yes. So, and in true Nintendo fashion, they messed it up.
Of course I
So
did.
here, it was revealed that Pokemon Fire Red and Leaf Green will be coming to the Nintendo Switch and Switch 2 on Pokemon Day. And Pokemon Day, for those who don't know, let me look it up really quick, is February 27th. So, funny enough, the day this podcast episode is out.
Oh,
And
goddamn.
so there's been a lot of controversy. Number one, you will actually be able to buy these games. Will you own them? Of course not. But you'll be able to buy
Obviously
them.
not.
They will be $20 each, mind you. You don't get both for $20. And this is an extreme price hike compared to the Wii U and the 3DS eShops, where they were selling Game Boy Advance games for no more than $10 on there. But the main issue that people have found with this is, number one, these are ROMs that are being ported. There is no online functionality being added. This is a copy and paste. Supposedly, there is one thing that has not been confirmed, and that is if the game counter is going to be changed anyway, or the game corner. And for those who don't know, the game corner is just like a little area that leads into like it's being run by Team Rocket. It turns into Team Rocket's hideout, but you can play virtual like slot machines and virtual roulette tables for not real money. Of course, you can use it to get like TMs and Pokemon, but you of course can't do that nowadays because of gambling regulations in a lot of countries. Here in America, it's perfectly fine apparently. And if it's not, then goddamn, the 900 different gambling ads that I saw during the fucking Super Bowl, if you can broadcast that to children, then God knows. Like, I don't even know anymore.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
So, with no online functionality, and if they are copy and paste like games, if you want to get the full experience from this game, you need to own 2 Nintendo Switches or 2 Nintendo Switch 2s. And there was,
Or a Nintendo Switch and a Nintendo Switch 2.
yeah, either way, there were rumors that they didn't know like if it was going to be released for the Switch 1. There was speculation it was going to be a Switch 2 exclusive. And so you can't trade Pokemon without it. Like there will be local, trading and all that, but
Yeah.
there will not be any online, and that really sucks. I would have dusted off my Nintendo Switch and probably bought like a couple months or maybe even a year worth just to play that game and to, actually see what the online meta around that game would have been, Cuz
Yeah.
it really would have been a trip back to the past since they're not really changing anything. The Cuz you'd be looking at Gen 3 mechanics as well as a non-complete Gen 3 sandbox because of the fact that you're not getting access to what is it, Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald, which have the other half of Gen 3.
Interesting.
Yeah, they were advertising the advertising for this game also is just really weird, and they're advertising like old mechanics. Mind you, this is a 20-year-old game at this point. But the reason why I'm bringing all this up is because it is there's of course with modern Nintendo another controversy, and that is people are pissed that this is not part of the Nintendo Online like little emulation area that they have.
Yeah.
Yeah, people are mad that they have to pay for this. And I find it, I understand why. I mean, I've been really, really wanting all of those games to just be put onto, like, make a virtual console, make it actually look good, put some soul back into your console,
Yeah.
Because if you look at, like, the Nintendo 3DS eShop or the Wii U eShop and the virtual console, like, go look up videos of that and you'll actually see that there are actual there's actual care put in. There's designs, there's little references to other past Nintendo consoles, past Nintendo games and things of that nature, as well as like themes and everything. There was a lot more soul back then. Funny enough, that's because when that was being designed, the CEO of Nintendo was also a gamer. Rest in peace, Iwata. He had a really famous and now very quoted speech where that he was giving. He said when he goes to work, he's a businessman, he's a CEO. In his mind, he's a game developer, but in his heart, he's a gamer. I probably butchered it. It's everywhere online, you can find it. But that rings so true, especially nowadays, Especially with all the Xbox stuff we talked about earlier.
Yeah.
There's no soul, there's no passion. It's like everything seems just cold, bland, and it's not just gaming. You can see it in TV shows. You can see it if you really want the best real world example I can give to you. Go look at modern fast food restaurant design compared to old design, and it literally looks just
Oh God.
yeah.
What a monstrosity it is now.
But that explain like that can explain or just be like a microcosm kind of what happened to everything. There's no soul. It's corporate. Just
It's corpo garbage.
yeah, it's the most effective way of getting somewhere. But as you're driving that way, you're like pulling pieces off of your car that you deem are not important till you're left with like nothing but a frame.
Yeah.
And then trying to sell that car to somebody, and when they buy it, then they're like, "Well, where's the rest of the car? Oh, here it is. I'll sell it to you in pieces." But I'm not going to sell it to you like all the pieces at once. I will monthly come back and sell you a different piece of the car each time, That's what it gives off to me. Oh, what do you think about all this Xbox, Nintendo?
It's a whole lot of garbage, dude. I'm just so done with all these companies. They're just abusing their fan bases and stuff essentially in order to like just make profits.
What
They don't really produce anything that's actually worth anything in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I'd argue that people aren't really. Well, there are some people that are fans of the company, but I'd argue that you should never
Yeah.
be fans of the company. You should definitely be a fan of the IPs. And
Yeah, just do the IPs and stick with that. I wouldn't really become a fan of the company overall itself.
yeah, I will say this: with how expensive everything is getting, with how expensive gaming is going to become, my recommendation to everyone is one of two things. You either need to go retro, and you need to go retro now, or you need to
Yeah.
find some way to allow yourself to, like, if you want to play a lot of these old games and you don't want to pay, especially Pokemon, the exorbitant amount of money because of the quote unquote collector market. It's a load of crap. You need to play Sea of Thieves. That's the best way. Like that's the best thing you can do. Find yourself some piece of technology, modern, old, however you do it. Sea of Thieves your way to, and that's the only way that these companies will learn is if you stop buying the new stuff because they have social media, they have marketing teams, and if we, as a collective, as a society, bring up, hey, I'm gonna go play this and that, like you all should play it too. It's really good. That's one of the reasons why you need to go out, support your little local places too, because
Yeah.
they killed online. Like Nintendo killed online, and for example, I've really wanted that old feeling of Pokemon back. The only way would be like, you create a group and you're like, hey everyone, let's get together at so and so place, and let's play some old Pokemon. Bring your 3DS, bring your copy of Pokemon Black or Pokemon Black 2 or White 2 or Platinum or whatever. This is just an example, by the way. You can say the same thing with like let's do LAN parties with Halo, or let's play
Or Counter Strike or a bunch of other stuff.
yeah, like, or hey, come over and we'll play the old Mario parties on my GameCube or on my N64. That's the future of gaming, in my opinion. True quality games made by people that put like passion and effort into gaming, truly made gaming an art form. And sadly, those people are fading into the background now, especially at Nintendo. But like Xbox, look at Bungie, they're a whole different can of worms. They made Halo. I'd argue that Valve is probably the last bastion of real gaming that we have left.
Yeah, I agree.
And sadly, I think you'll see it fall by the wayside the same way when the leadership steps down. When that will be, I don't know, but it's bound to happen because that's what happened with Halo and Destiny and Bungie. It's what happened with PlayStation, with Microsoft, with Apple, with everything to an extent, This doesn't just go with gaming. It's the same thing with movies, it's the same thing with TV shows. George Lucas and Star Wars, and Indiana Jones. God damn, poor Indiana Jones.
Don't remind me.
Yeah, like it. I'll end it with this: when in 100 years or 1,000 years, when we're all gone, I would rather have our version of like ancient artifacts or hieroglyphics or whatever be the stuff that truly had passion in it. I would rather that like a VHS copy of Star Wars or Indiana Jones or the old James Bond movies be the thing that future archaeologists are digging up, and being like, it belongs in a museum instead of,
You belong in a museum.
it belongs in a museum instead of like High Guard or things like that, you know?
Like Concord and shit like that.
Concord, Overwatch, things of that nature, or insert whatever modern online slop that there is now. And it's funny because with the way that gaming is going, with the way that media is going, like we already have a lost media issue, not just with games, but with like movies that were made like in the 50s and earlier,
Yeah.
and I love gaming too much. I love real games. I love real art, and I would hate for it to not be able to be passed down to a generation and a generation not love it as much as I do, purely because it's old. It's not the new thing. I can just stream directly to my brain chip. I can just stream Call of Duty 57 or Black Ops 12 directly to my neural cortex. I'm going to go hook up to my plug in the wall and, whatever the hell these people think the future is like, You can't go backwards, but you can at least show people that the past is better than what we have now, so we can develop on what was back then and replace the new crap.
I think we're at a breaking point at this point where I think we just need to replace what we have now. And honestly, anything could be better than that.
Yeah. You can't go backwards. I'm not saying to go backwards, but what I'm saying is the stuff from the past is built to last. Take it forward with you and make the future and the present adapt to what we had back then, what's truly worth being succeeded, you know? Do you have anything to add?
I think that, like, I want to touch on the point you just said, kind of just reiterating it. Like, I think we need to just create our own culture that's based off of the lived experiences of the generation that we have now, instead of trying to recreate something that was made from an art form from a completely different generation of a different time frame. And that's what needs to be, focused on as we head into the future.
There you go. And on that note, ladies and gentlemen, Coolshirt, thank you for joining me once again, as always.
Of course.
Take care of yourselves, ladies and gentlemen. And you know what? If you did get all the way, I would really, really love to know, what is your favorite video game of all time? What is what is it? What makes it great? I'm looking for new stuff to play, specifically older stuff. So please leave it in the comments or go and at me on Twitter. I really, really want to try a bunch of like stuff that I missed from the past. On that note, take care of yourselves and have a good one.